Happy is he, put his trust in Yah.
Go ahead, brother.
For I have known him, in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of Yahweh, to do righteousness and justice, that Yahweh may bring to Abraham what he has spoken to him. And Yahweh said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very great, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me, and if not, I will. No.
Is that verse 22?
No.
Oh, go ahead.
Then the men turned away from there and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood still before Yahweh.
Hold up. Abraham stood before Yahweh? Is that what that's saying?
Yes.
Okay, go to verse 33 now. That's the last one.
So Yahweh went his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place.
Okay. So now, it's evident from what we've seen that Yahweh on several occasions, okay, appeared. That means that Abraham saw him. He spoke to Abraham, and without getting into all the details of what came next, remember the intercession that Abraham made for his nephew Lot. So he had a conversation in the presence of Yahweh. Keep that in mind. And let me emphasize Yod, Ed, Wah, Hey. That entity who bore that name. That's Torah. Okay. But here in John, it says, no one has ever seen Mighty One. No one has ever seen God. Now we got to ask ourselves a question. If no one has ever seen God, he goes on to say, the only begotten Son who is in the bosom of the Father, he did declare. We got to ask ourselves a question. Who in the world was Abraham talking to? Because when this statement was made, it was referring to God, Almighty One, as being the Father, which we've already seen. There's a distinction between the Father and the Son. They're two totally separate entities. That's what we've seen so far, correct? That's from the Word. You don't have to give opinion. You don't have to elaborate or commentate. All you got to do is read and accept what we just saw in the Scriptures. Okay. Now, let's move on. Let's go to John chapter 5 and verse 37. Now, how many of you believe that the Word is true? Hallelujah. I believe that the passage, even in that prayer, matter of fact, when Mashiach was praying to the Father, he said, to sanctify them in your truth. Your Word is truth. You know, even when we read the account of Mashiach, and when we read the documents of Brother Shaul and Brother Kepha and the other apostles who wrote and left memoirs, if you will, we look at those scriptures as being true. That's John 5 verse 37. It says, and the Father who sent me. Again, we have that distinction. Mashiach is declaring that he is someone that was sent from the Father, by the Father. Okay? He bore witness of me. You have neither heard his voice at any time. Now, we just seen some passages dealing with Abraham, that not only did Abraham see Yahweh, not only did Yahweh appear before him, he had a conversation with Abraham. But like the word says, by the mouth of two or three, a matter should be established. Okay, my brothers, I need Genesis 2:16. Brother Sheffield, could you get Genesis 3:9 for me? And 4:6 and 6:13. Now we're going to go above and beyond. We only need 2 or 3. And I think we've got that. We've covered that much so far. But now we're going to see other evidences here. Because there's something that, again, people need to understand. And when we get to this question who is Yahushua Ha'Mashiach. Our people will be surprised. So, Genesis 2:16, my brother. What is it?
And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou may freely eat.
Hold up, man. The man that he's referring to in this particular verse is Adam. Okay. Now we just read that you have neither heard his voice at any time, but the first man that was created, he commanded that man not to eat of that tree. Okay. Genesis 3:9, my brother.
And Yahweh Elohim called upon Adam and said unto him, where art thou?
Huh? He called upon Adam and asked Adam a question. Go down to verse 13 for me, my brother.
And Yahweh Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
Okay. So not only did he talk to Adam, we got evidence that he also spoke to Chawah, to Eve. That's what my brother. 4:6.
So Yahweh said to Cain, why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen?
Yahweh said to Cain. You mean to tell me that Yahweh spoke to us? That's three people. We can stop right there, right? That's three witnesses we got, right? That Yahweh Elohim spoke to three different men. Two men, one woman, if you want to be specific. But he said that you have neither heard his voice at any time, talking about the Father, nor seen his form. I'm referencing John 5:37. Let's go with the last scripture anyway. 6:13. Genesis 6:13.
And Elohim said to Noah,
Got it. That's cool.
the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
So he spoke to Noah also. Okay. Now, when Messiah made this statement, question, is that the truth? You have neither heard his voice at any time nor seen his form, referring to the Father. Is that the truth? Now, what about what we just read here in Genesis and all of these different passages? Is that the truth? Then we got conflicting doctrines here. Because see, when you look at the Father, many people, and I was one of those many people years ago, when you talk about who the Father is, how many people at one point thought that the Father was Yahweh? I did. I remember even teaching that. But there's something else. See, now this has to match up.
Right.
Now let's make some connections. Okay? Because if no man has ever heard the voice of the Father, nor seen the form of the Father, then apparently Yahweh Elohim ain't the Father. Something else is going on here. Okay? He's not the Father. There is a Father. I'm not saying there isn't, because we already think there's a distinction that's being made. But again, when it comes to answering that question, who is Yahushua Ha'Mashiach? When we come to understand and know who that is, only then will we really appreciate the gift that has been given to us. Okay? So let's go to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 4. We're not going to keep